So look, on TikTok, you've exploded. You're nearly 500,000 followers, and the likes and views on every video are just astronomical. I personally, when I first got on TikTok, I didn't think that possible for a pop culture comic based channel, but I think the likes of yourself, is it Fixation and I'll pronounce it wrong, and then there was Panda Red, who I had on a couple of weeks
Hmm.
ago. It's just comic TikTok is booming.
Yeah, I'm in very good and rarefied company. Um, and it was also like, honestly, it was also surprising to me too, because I was just like, oh wow, like people actually want to like hear me just prattle on about the weirdly obscure comic book history, and like some characters you may not have heard of, or facts about characters you might not have like had at the forefront, because you haven't devoted 20 plus years of your life to just poring over comics and hoarding that knowledge.
It's honestly, even myself, I'm here running a comic based podcast, but I've learned so much even from watching some of your videos. I've watched some and I've been like, did not know that. I need to do more research.
Well, that's like the whole thing that I do, and like my philosophy in doing these, comic book deep diving videos, is that I am of the mind that the best part of accumulating like comic trivia and like lore and things like that is getting to like share it with people in a way that's like, oh man, if you like this character, you got to check out this other character. They're crazy. They have this wild background. It's like stuff that like it's been, yeah, it's twice removed retcon, but like man, was it wild.
Yeah, it's like comics history is so vast, and for every version of a character, you don't know a separate version of them. Like I've done a whole video on different versions of Scarlet Witch, and
Mm.
some I hadn't a clue about. The one I grew up on was Ultimate Scarlet Witch and all that
Oh yeah.
controversy
Hmm.
because I started
Oh,
Ultimate Comics.
oh, Ultimate Comics. They sure were a thing.
Only good to come out
for
of
for
Ultimate Comics was Spider Man,
for
I think.
better, for yeah, I think, well, yeah, I think that's like, it's really interesting. It's a thing where like their heart was in the right place of wanting to give like ease of access to newer readers that didn't want to dive into characters with a 60 plus year background, and because that can be intimidating, like that's a good thing. And then it's like, here's some of the choices we've made with the characters, specifically like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh no, not like that. It's like, yeah, like I'm fine with having a teenage, high schooler Peter Parker again, but maybe we don't need the like incestuous Maximoff twin thing happening.
yeah. It's there's been a few times in Marvel history where they've gone to incestuous relationships. Old Man
It's a,
Logan had that
yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, that was with the Hulk Greg. Yeah. Ugh.
And look, I'm
Oh,
sure it's great talking. I love talking to people like yourself who have gotten on the show from reaching out, because in Ireland the comic book industry is still growing, but it's not as big. So it's very rare to find more than one person in a friend group who is interested in more than just the movies.
yeah.
Mm.
I'm always happy to talk comics and talk comic shop.
She said you've been collecting comics for 20 plus years.
Mhm.
What got you into comics?